4.3.
18 minutes past 9 in the morning. Atik Mache.
Chairman John Amiju so.
Boko de.
Yamidi chairman.
Yeah, then Yamiasi and up in 1 month and 1 power.
Oh, chairman, traffic. Anyway, it's not an excuse. But
it's a poor excuse.
Yes, I apologize.
Dr. Kwame Sasa, Japanese Mache.
Yuraba.
Yuraba Sunaba, Mache Makaba.
Yasona.
Eja Oba Ntemo de Eja, school ni teacher ni Utiasi.
Members of Beto Max.
There be youth.
The chairman general.
One and a channel.
The territorial chairman. Chairman, Yan Twaben, you know.
There be.
Or a benevolent dictator.
Now, you're 2 9
The chairman only has some more.
Oh, me that's here.
You pay 170.
The constitutional
Chairman.
Yeah.
Absolute and constitutional monarch.
Just an absolute to power.
He's admired by the benevolent dictators around the world. Chairman, you watch it.
Me na me who watch him. There's a hana me te.
I'm say Afina me ma wakra me.
Dabio. Afina. Yeah, to nkasa won nam.
Ne buba.
But when you Andrew high.
Okay.
Abensu de Kokrokoo sunsun no better echi.
Amen. Yeah, that's so no adaje.
Yeah, I can verse be numbers one.
Numbers 6:24 to 26.
That's right.
The Lord bless you and keep you.
Amen.
The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you.
That's right.
The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace.
That's a powerful prayer.
Yeah.
And baby, why Parliament? Unya can be my Parliament empire now. What will you ask?
Yeah.
What if you are the
Okay, Mary.
Now, Unya, a woman.
Mary. Mary. And but our Parliament empire be ultimately sending and pay na. You have said you beat me at the hair how far. Atik.
Chairman.
Galamsey. The latest drive.
Yeah.
200 soldiers already gone.
Okay.
Another 200 police officers deployed.
Yeah.
Is this where we should be? The fight continues.
Yes. Chairman, me that's it.
Who analyze it to saying?
That's it. Nearly came a mincha for you now.
Yeah, Joso.
I think sir FOC Ebua, and like I said last week, it's about sustainability. Quite ben ebe faso. I'm making sure say ni ebe yield the desired outcomes That's outcomes so would be sustainable. Until you a year, because you start from 1 before you go to 2. I said to me all the illegals from site every hall. And sana ya dream kwanya ebe faso I'm making sure say this continues and that we make this enterprise of illegal mining a very high risk enterprise.
How sustainable?
Yes. And last week, Mika say it's just not enough to go and clear illegacy and illegal miners from site.
Yeah.
Teaching Crawford or mining in water sea. It's just not enough. But it's a good first start. Until we are, you would have to ensure, say, near we it's just not some one-off event. Because you won't be paying. In 2017, the effort was very robust. And the support was unanimous. Ghana of Winyina, across all political divides, Ubia LND support to that effort. But 2 years after the start of SAR initiative, you said there was a relapse. In fact, and it got worse than it was before. And na SMA who said we need to ensure that our efforts are sustainable. And sustainability comes in different forms. My dream, our sanctions regime ought to be a little more robust. I mentioned last week. Asuchiano, I say, emuye dinkakra. Mikan last week say, if you look at the regime that subsists in say chiwa deported. Sabi, if you are a foreign national, na ya choose galamsi. The worst that can happen to you is that you get deported.
I didn't think deport. I didn't even found into a fear to Ghana.
Exactly. Oh, nienti aye wo mrapon na ye wo Adam mrawo o man no mu ne say, Sabi obi fum mra na na edinafa mrakwan so it doesn't matter which nationality you come from and which nationality you bear. So we are Ghana new, so we are foreign national. In fact, before your entry into this country, who fill visa application form, you undertake to abide by the laws of this republic, and that in the event say ufum rana or my ewo hu to me say you betimi di wafa samra kwan no so. So mina kakra say sabi obi be di boni kese ti say illegal mining. Na ye china na ye ya nso yamfa no kono krom. And you ask yourself, Anka Ghana ni ne ko omukrom ko yes ai na yanka say ye di ni ba ha o.
Call them.
Who could exactly? So I think that we need to in the enforcement of our legal regimes govern mining. I say making sure say kwanya essay ye faso no yem faso. We should not try to be politically correct about the sanctions regime. Obia ofum rano. Ghana ni ye chi Ghana ni yan kanchen say ko ukrum. Ebi say bi nipa no free gamaga de enye Ghana. Sinti say mami fa krofo fro. Ko just and two free. Mami fa ukrum nye example. Say obi free ko just and kro ebe ye galamsey wo bibia. Lemfa say obuasi for example. Ye china yan kanchen say ko ukrum member obuasi bi mu. Ye do famra kwan so and you end up in jail. Why should it not be the case foreign nationals so from Rana they suffer the same fate? The second issue is, and of course, sticky na kakarot. We need to have a reward arrangement and architecture bia ebe embolden Crawford to come forward with information, to volunteer information about galamsey any hunyama. Senebeya ebetimi abua intelligence agencies need to do their work. It's just not enough to say the yen I am but if there is a reward scheme in place, ebe man Crawford who say me kobwa na ye chi galamsey foi ana na ye stop galamsey na Abain has put in place a mechanism to reward my effort. And everybody would be encouraged to come forward with information. And I spoke about protection regime for whistleblowers. Ghana we have a whistleblowers act, but the protection arrangements are extra. And people are not too comfortable to step forward to blow the whistle on Nyoma Air Koso. Now, beyond way Chairman, the critical point in say, say completely. Until ye clear we are Sebi, no enu by magic. I say bibi, yetimi hu bibi.
Or say to me, yeah, a juma, editing
neni.
Now, how about assassin or my saying?
Exactly, that is another issue. Assassin says, yeah, I'm not to plural of amna. Okay. Omako tutu amna bebre along the banks, and there are heaps of sand. And since you try hard as you may, clear now one you don't reclaim the land, Chairman. And you try. The sand will find its way back into the waters. And you would have cleared them, but you still have the problem of dirty waters. Ebedin for Ghana Water Company and all other agencies and now companies are still a human bed near mom. And the approach has to be manifold. On the one hand, you have the onslaught to clear them from our water bodies and from everywhere. The second should be to reclaim our lands. And the third one, and for me most importantly, and he said, to make sure say, ya say no, any better. This for me should be the focus of this whole approach. It should not just be a one-legged approach. Say, oh, yeah, no. You would have succeeded somewhat in getting them out, but at Nyomana Yeshishano, and Nientia Yenia Breno, wouldn't have achieved it. And he said, I say, enity. I say making sure say our lands, we reclaim our lands so that vegetation is simple. A real reclamation there could even be some effort to plant trees again. Wow. Until sa multifaceted approach, me ma na ebetimi ensure the sustainability requirements na ye kan ho asem no. If we can do this, our approach would be sustainable. And I am sure say 5-10 years from today, ebetimi aka say when we started this fight in 2021 no. These were the approaches fire, and these are the results.
Burning excavators, yes. Soldier 4, police 4, And no ne kwa o say timi fa so.
Oh me enu de me jitum say shisha excavators no. I have no. Oh chairman yen no.
Are
and history must be our guide. In 2017 we seized excavators. Chairman wouldn't what came of it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Ekoye say Obia Koton excavators yes easy. They found how did they get back? I mean, how did we get back to this point? The same excavators now yes easy, they are the ones back on site working. When men not sa excavators, fast so they call back to site. It is because yes easy, we were unable to manage sa excavators now yes easy, So somebody somewhere either sold them out to the perpetrators again, and now Penyimbi Edini to me, Esako G Edima Obi. Let's not rule out the possibility, say people abuse their powers in this country. That, I mean, of course, nobody can pretend not to know, say Ghana had the over to me and and that power can solve almost every problem. Obi could boni krana free obi awo to me. The person can easily make a call and, not ye jaw.
Yeah.
And because we tried it, and you learn from your experience. History must always be your guide. And to me, so that we won't find ways, and I won't give people the opportunity to get these excavators back onto site. The best in my view, and it's a yenshishono. Otherwise, yes, young Cochina and Fambra assemblies. Was that not the same approach? We did that. Some assemblies got excavators. At the end of the day, they got themselves back onto sites and so on. Intermediate, me force to say.
Many and fan assemblies, no.
Chairman, assemblies, we tried it, we piloted it. Anye Juma. Assemblies, some of the excavators were given back to the perpetrators. Almost had to two.
How about task force? No, so almost movie.
Task force, Vanguard for and our committee.
Committee said they were in charge, and it be right.
If there is any bogus committee ever set up in this country, it's our committee. Chairman, almost say what are the results? You see, an intervention is cost efficient to the degree say bisikana would shame compared to the outcomes. Extra. So Nyampachen is the input is less than the output in terms of value. So that ye disika say eko wure mu a juma omo ye no na nke say timi hu say juma omo ye ni enti wudi tutu sika na ye shame no betimi aka say omo aye juma na sika ye di ma sa committee and task force no edi empoti na omo betimi aka say yaye. They have not been able to stem the galamsey tide. In any case, sesi akra aye hu achen the way an sit here before the task force. So I mean, it is, in my view, I am just a step shy of saying it was a useless committee. But I need to be politically correct, so I'll use the word bogus.
What can you use?
Oh, yes. Chairman, because Ejuma, ye di share omunsano. Oma nye Ejuma no, enafe omusa share, you can say, ni omu ye no, share sa perpetrate sa galamsey foi. Shomun crimes, ye betimi aye Ejuma. And they came back with some renewed vigor. And to the extent of damage omu ye post sa task force Ejuma yi, esu see damage omu ye before the task force. Enti omo ankasa, and talking about excavators in task force ye di be more no, why don't know the one selling ya anti-team some say they were selling the excavators. Chairman ti say aban eyi mu esi ho say monhwe na mombo ya environment no ho ban ye nkuntia galamsey. And part of the approach was to seize excavators. Ye di ma mu say monhwe so. How can excavators mysteriously disappear from garages? These are excavators in our park. Me dream one mintiasi. And Tina Medicanka said there is abuse of power in this country. And Obia woman to me crebia a per se or exploit his art to me to his personal advantage. And it's so that you don't create a room for anybody to exploit whatever power has been conferred on Onyakono. Make sure say I didn't cry am from bampo na would you to me akoton and our waji na the ama perpetrators ni beam. Let's make sure that we don't even create that room. It's not because I support destruction of property, but you are looking at the magnitude of the problem at hand. Any near air kosui, this is the least we can even do, because you end up creating a vicious cycle. Every 2 years, na ya excavators no na ya ka brofo de yamfa nkoma assemblies so that they can use brofo de obehu a na ya sa koton amankrofo yi then they come back no ma say environment ni biem and everybody is angry again now by sa committee fufro then so it becomes a vicious cycle, in fact an unending vicious cycle. I strongly believe say way serves as a strong deterrence because we do seek about 100,000 and now over ecotos excavator na shina. Sometimes we want to say we are too democratic, rule of law. Look, Chairman, there is Adibia friend the Chinese paradox,
which is in fact generally, and there have been several studies, including one done by this popular economist. He's called Asimoglu. They did a study on the impact of democratization on growth. And Omuka say democracy impacts growth positively, which means who democracy Emma usika semno etumpo. Open to yes. Eko enimu. And Ebimuka say na China wo it's not a democracy. Yeah.
Now so omutumpon. Which tells you say it is not necessarily the case at time. Look, democracy is not the best form of government. It is just that in the absence of it, alternative be a channel, but it's not as if it is the best. And to the beer, new be we should not bug ourselves down with this mantra. Say, oh, dear, democracy, rule of law. Say, the honest you can't even find because in fact, when the security agencies urban, once they see them, they run. You can't even tell who owns the excavator. And to what do you do with it? Would you come assemblies now at the end of the day? You destroy it because the problem you are seeking to address, seen excavator, na sebi obi di ne sika be $100,000. And that's about 570,000 Ghana cedis, 5.7 billion. Educator excavator. No him say ye chimi a ebeshino. Chairman, nobody would be encouraged to want to do that. And now who turn Eddie rent, obedju before you rent it to be our illegal mining. That is the only deterrent mechanism. And a deterrence mechanism, in my view, a bit me abua as far as the sale and the use of these excavators and other equipment are concerned. And ABM, apart from excavators, I'm fine. Chairman Mika said there has to be a way of banning the importation of siding. And Amuka said, yeah, they import them in parts.
In parts, from
yes. Even so,
knockdown.
One. Now, Omudiko magazine, they find a way to do it. If we can't legislate against the importation of champagne, we can at least criminalize the sale of assembled champagnes. You see, uninam kwano swa assembled ones no esuha ye tonton. Nti say omudi pass na eba so that omudi ba no ma be assembler. We can criminalize the sale of champagne because sebi yamfa champagne ndo. Yamfa nyefu, yamfa nyaku edwuma. We don't use it to do fishing. The only thing it does is galamsey. Nti why can we not expressly say obi biara utom machine eye champagne say champagne no. Eye illegal, it is criminal. Ye chiwa. Yetimi di wukwa jina semdibia. If we do that, sebi nipa na eye nse ne niati or a smart chain obiano odi pass no na eba no to assemble them in Ghana no. Obe say me di bakra na be assembler. Ni tono be medin. Until the person will be discouraged from importing parts no, much less assemble them to sell. Until these are approaches adopted to deter people. And like I spoke about sustainability, beyond deterring people, sucking them from the water bodies, we must achieve the ultimate objects, which are clean water bodies, reclaimed lands, and what have you. Until the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, I'm excited about his enthusiasm. Meniaji or Washasi, and these should be the ultimate ends, because clearing them is just a means to an end. And the end, in my view, is we reclaim our lands, we clean our water bodies. But if the idea is just to sack them, yem pamu and na enwano, sebi anya kranke because we are not any NTR. I mean, you haven't solved any problem. You would have probably succeeded in solving just the slightest part of it. But bigger one, no, and say ye pese ye river bodies no, clean, so that the threat of importing water no can completely be taken out.
I kind of agree with you on this. Cleaning the water bodies, clearing the water bodies, reclaiming the land.
Yes.
But in common idea about destroying and now detonating excavators. Kweku bako the quotation be brave said no as an answer on the law.
Okay.
Emran Patcher say ye seize excavators are a train idea potting or see idea.
Okay.
And destroying them is not part of it.
What does the law say?
I am still going through just to find.
Is it the minerals?
The exact. Or say the legal regime requires that seized excavators and other equipment are first taken into police custody. Subsequent to that, if and when the courts find the suspects and culprits guilty of illegal mining, the seized excavators equipment are given to a state institution on the orders of the courts.
Yes.
This is the existing legal regime. If we want the seized equipment banned, then let's advocate an amendment of the law. Populist nonsense must give way to popular sense.
You see, Chairman, he's making this point on the assumption, sir, there are culprits to be tried.
Nana Kwesi Jana Pentin say, yes. Good morning, Chairman General. The point is that there's a law detailing how to deal with seized goods like the excavators.
Yes.
So we should not replace one lawlessness with another.
You see, Chairman, we are proceeding on the assumption, sir, there are culprits or suspects to be tried. The very minute they see these soldiers and other security personnel coming, and once on and so you don't even know who owns the equipment. Ultimately, so hide. You see, or say you didn't go or differ, then the court can order the assignment of such equipment into state agencies. But here you are, you don't have a culprit to try. I didn't see you, and also, what do you do? Do you expropriate it? Because that's more like expropriation. Because I didn't know, and you but because there is Obia Niwa, Obeka say Adi media, then you give it to the state. That's expropriation, which in itself is an illegality.
But Kweku Free from Spintex seems to agree with you.
Yes.
Kweku Free says, Chairman General, even if we don't prosecute, but we detonate the equipment, it's okay. The detonation of the equipment is enough of a punishment. If your Shangfang or excavator is bombed, the onus will now be on you to sue and prove in court.
Exactly.
That you have a permit to use the River Pra.
Absolutely.
As your Shangfang garage.
Which you can. I like that.
That's River Pra as your Shangfang garage.
Yes.
Detonate Ahoya, Kweku Free, Spintex Road.
Chairman, that is the point. You see, we when you say adi yes say adi ma obi that is on the assumption say ya chi obi. Me so say ya chi obi o you see some machine no. You be shi nipa na equipment no there be you di nipa no police station, but Chairman, police station be the housing. Do we have garage between housing you mean? And I told you we tried it, we piloted it with even a task force. Anye. But Chairman, more importantly, the second texter after Uncle Kuku Eka say the law is that yes, there's a law dealing with confiscated goods. Chairman, FDA omunshi no madibia. And no swear. Are we saying that is lawlessness?
Maybe expired goods.
No, sometimes only license now importing your man that are not licensed. There could be quality products from elsewhere, but the mere fact that they are not registered with FDA no render them illegal goods. You're trying because they are good quality goods. You're trying to accord Amakota Kase Chichema state agencies. Yes, you know. That is how it works. Because Chairman, yes, shoe investment utinyo mabiase usika share next time ube make sure say niemi ye die ebe famra kwansu finchim. But if we begin to tickle ourselves with these legalese say adi we is a form of lawlessness, you don't cure one lawlessness with another. But like I'm saying, the regime is grey when it comes to a situation there's no culprit to deal with. What do you do?
We'll be back. What do you do? Mami Ajua says, I support this idea. Atik Mohammed. Atik Mohammed, Mami Ajua agrees with you. Let's see. This one says, Kwame, there's no replacement of law with lawlessness. The president has declared war, and that is it.
Yeah,
Phillips from Takrade.
Chairman, one say wars with the enormous casualties, which are permissible under international law. Minimal casualties are permissible international law.
Okay, Kweku Baku says, if you don't have a suspect to put on trial at the court, tell the court so and get the equipment given out to the appropriate state institution on the orders of a court.
Chairman, how do you proceed to court? Me, I'm not a litigant. But Chairman, you don't just get up and go to court and say, oh, may who equipment be or river praso until media back court. What would be the basis of your appearance in court? I mean, there has to. I'm not lawyers in Boy, but Chairman, litigation, you don't just go to court because, where who might be or river praso and a media back court into court, Muma orders, Nami Farmer State Agency. Sebi, I don't know. I'm not very versed in the entire legal regime, but I'm not too clear how that is going to work out. Say, and one say, who sees equipment be another court? There has to be a reason. And there has to be Obia who must answer to the court. And I don't know. We all stand educated. Until will be information. But I strongly stand by the view, say, burning excavators, is the best form of deterrence.
Yeah, Marvin agrees with you. Before I go to Dr. Asante, Chairman General, we cannot as a country continue to be doing the same things and expect different results on this Galamsey fight. I am for the burning of these excavators, if that is what will end illegal mining in the country. Yeah, Marvin in Kwesimintim. But who says burning the excavators would, end it? But Kweku Free comes back. Kweku Free from Spintex says, in response to my namesake Kweku Baku on the law, the people remove the motherboard from the equipment. That is a control board. You can't even move them to the police station.
Yes.
So what do? Ban them. Kweku Free, Spintex. And then Phillips in Takrady says, the Shanfangs are used for only one purpose. What would not more the MMDCs do with the Shanfangs? Well, Phillips in Takrady, how about the excavators? Kwame, I can see the clear and genuine intention of the president to get rid of Galamsey. But please ask Samia Oku if you'll be surprised some party executives are alleged to be responsible in the Galamsey going on at Osino, Abompe, Jinase, Jampomeni, and Hemang, where the Brim River, the Brimu passes. But you can't find it now. And that is why the security cannot even act, even though they know the act is right in front of them. If the Galamseyers ask cocoa farmers to sell their farms in these towns and they refuse, they take it by force. So farmers are forced to sell their farms or lose everything. Galamseyers are seen rudely roaming in these towns, and if you dare complain, your life is at risk. Kweku Eshan in Abilinkwe. Nancy Asu say some so-called operatives of national security.
Yes.
I am quite sure. People like Atik Mohammed and his followers must be careful about setting the law aside, even in times of war. It is a dangerous slope. If that's what we want, let's change the law. Kweku says that. And then, okay. Doc, Mpacho Brem etedeng.
Nana?
Yeah.
Huye. Na me jedi sa unsu huye.
Erade aduminti.
Me fa free so nchi agana fo. Bon abaso adwuma pa wo ye momen. Won go so da na da.
Amen.
Be kai won bible. You. Kwame. Wo de Galamsey afiase nti me so meto aso.
Me da aso.
We are mabama him grow ho. Fix the country. Me be twato. But yen hwe Galamsey.
Yeah.
Uhwe Kwame. Yen yesu amanya sam no. Ya kire ne ma bi ofren social contract. O se bra onyama ba ade no. Nipa hu se wontie esanse obetuma wu ne won agapade be sei. Enu nti wogetum se abang mra na won fa wontumi man na abang mo won ho bang. Na abang ye sa de na won so wode ni bu ni nidi ni as ni atese wo ye bia wo ya ma bang. Enu ni social contract. Kwa me se wo hwe wo nwoma bia mu a wo hu contract na ni ba bia. Wo koma so wo wadwenum eda wa no. You. Na enu na ma bang to me. Say abang wa sedi etiso ye. Na oya menne wo ye bedi ne mmara so. Ye de mmara be ye adwuma. You. Nti unye hu se niema biri koso na bang intumente so ya na oreto social contract no ejejam if say the to me asha wonsa say di omanso fa to me ye adwuma na obiara ore ni wo mra so no yen aye ma wo kwan se twena so menya lawyer na law awokan is the will of the expression of the people ni aye pe se eye hon eno ne mra anuanem ni ema bi hawen yen asome nipa bi akọ parliament munsi yen anan mu na monhwe se deng ne be ye ho no nga hyemra anuanem political science yo ni ema bi ayesua ba ko ne state capacity you na state capacity ni nchire mu no ya horo anan ye wo ba ko a ye friend regulatory capacity se omen biara no se wo hyemra se wo pese wo capacity ni gina ho a utumi gina wonan so ya se utumi hyemra na wo di ye adwuma when tuma anya ye friend weak capacity na so eno na ye wo mu ana ye hyemra no ye ntumi mfa nya adwuma kwame ne etusu bi wo state capacity ni ba ko o friend administrative capacity we use resources ewo men mu nyina na wo di aboni pa ho ban na wo di ayo man enunti ye ma wo say tumin no wentuma amfa anya adwuma a weak capacity of the state ni aka ho asem na etusu bi esa ye friend bi say extractive capacity it is utumi gige ntoba to taxes na urezi sika ma for kwan bi so ni enya sika na ye de yo man wentuma anu so weak capacity nen ye technical capacity niema bi wo ha se ye technical ideas ye di sigina bi ye de ye niema bi sa niema nyina fi unsa e fail state o ma na yira enunti se wo hwe se ye nga ma ban tumi abanhoro a ye nga nyewon for republic ye de se tumi nyina acha unsa fa ye adwuma ne ye nkoye ntia so wo tia so ya fa mra kwan so wo ye sa de na hwe mba se wentuma anya and na okwan a wode yang nam so no wanhwe pe na wode ha ko fail state you enunti yen hu sa yen ayesu amanya sam na haw yen okwan ye nam so ye toro you na deng na de sa di ba ni ne fare ba ko ne the lack of political will yen nan ko komu nya den a ye gina ho ka asem bi ne kan pen kwa me twi wo frɛ kase bi ya kan o se Adona you Adona kwame te say me kan wani masam na me kan pen na me kan se ne se no eza na se wo ya madam hu ye me nua nti me kan na me krokro no ho eno ya Adona na ekum ye nto ekum ye ngomen mu ha nti efi se nipa wo ye sa de ye nim ngomen mu ha dodo ne ya party fo ma me kan pen enyam na me kan hwehwem na kire party fo na ye ene omanfo na bi nso na ye ahoho nso be ye ni ameka kosi ya na se yenim ni be yes ane mai nti edan ni yentumi hwehwe won na yemfa won nyina asem dibia na won kan asem se na ese woka wo ye party ma yentumi nka wo ai wo yintobo ama party yentumi nka won asem yen agige sufi 1992 besi na fedi nsu no remene yen nia ha mekora ne se nansen what is a European Union fusi yen kokon kura woran to se yen anhwe sa de na yen fix sa problem na won to ho na ye me yawo so se nya san krofo no wo kan a anke yentumi nya hwe ana so wo hwe nsu no bai enua akwai ahoro a ewo ho na eresei na yete ho a yentumi nkan wo hwe a na eye mobo etete esa ne se nipa na wodi sa adwuma nyina sab wanyansa manfo ye hwehwe won a ye behu won yes wo hwehwe ade ehu a enunti no wo kyekere boa yiwo ye hwehwe a ye behu nti enunti na nokware wo ho enti no bia we din nti won etun wokọ baabi asa ne me ikoso ya won a wote ho no so midi won ho yawo se dodo na ye sab eni ha na wo hwe won ha won ka hwe ebirum kura nso kan wo bi na wo se ade na de na semni se na ga na ye ni de na semni so what yes ye de tumi ama aban je mitumi fa di o manso nia oso ompene no twa na chi ma e ma hwe fa mra kwan so ye nga jijam na fede nsu na remene ye ni asafam na nea ha yɛn baako kura bi o no sɛ mpanimfo som sɛ wɔre yɛ ade na bi nya fiase bɔ wɔmran in the wisdom of so and so ɔyɛ adeɛ ye waba ɔbɛyɛ sɛ certain yɛyɛ a ɛkɔ nipa tim a wɔntumi nyɛ adwuma bi o yɛbɔ wɔmran ma ne nya adwuma ne nyinaa nwie wie a wode hyirew agu no kɔn mu ɛne ane wo fiase pɛ ne yɛbɔ wɔmran sɛ ayɛ wie na ho nneɛma fiti prɛko to wo sia mogya na ɛba ayɛ yɛntwɛn na wɔnwie adwuma no na saa nneɛma na akɔ ahaw yɛn besi nɛ yɛgu so yɛka ho asɛm yi kwame yɛkɔ anim yi wo se wokekare funu a sɛbe wokekare dampan yɛfa na ɔde no bɛto ɛno nti yiw wo se kontrofisa ɛwɔ ne nsɛm ɔfa adeɛ ɔde kyerɛ mede kyerɛ solution ne dɛn ɔkwampa a yɛbɛtumi afa so ne dɛn yɛma mmara nyɛ adwuma ping sɛ yɛde mmara yɛ adwuma a wo tiri nya wo yaw me nuanom mpanimfo a obi ati ne nya ne yaw ebisɛ yɛnim sɛ wo foma wɔne wobɛdi hwɛ kwame me ne yɛne nam aburokyiri ne yɛn a wɔayɛ ne nam aburokyiri wo fom mmara wɔ ha a kyɛw pɛ neɛ hɔ
dabi na sɛ one na bi ani hɔ
dabi wo fom ya na ɔno wo kasa see you in court thank you you mu nyina mo aserew ɔyɛ n'adwuma fɛfɛɛfɛ na yɛn ha no aden ne ntini ntumi yɛ bibi amekasa no ameka no sɛ yɛkɛsi yɛbɛyɛ yɛmpɛ sɛ yɛyɛ nti na yɛyɛ no saa o hwɛ kwame sɛ yɛkɛsi yɛde mmara bɛyɛ adwuma wɔ ha ɛbɛyɛ adwuma wo ma memma wo mfa to ho baako polisifo de wɔ nan si fam sɛ wɔde mmara bɛyɛ adwuma wo sɛ obiara mmɔ seat belt kwame wototo w'ani a wahu obi a seat belt ɛnsɛn ne kɔn mu da kwame toto w'ani na hwɛ me sɛ polisifo sɛ wohu wɔn adwuma baako no mɛde ato abɔnten wonam mmɔnten so ahwɛ hina ne sɛ ɔba na wɔn awo na o sɛ ɔka kaa na seat belt mmɔ ne kɔn mu dabi wɔn woyɛ na wɔrɔ wo obiara bɔ seat belt ɛno nti si yɛkete ɛbɛma ho kwan na yɛbɛyɛ ho adwuma yɛbɛyɛ na yɛto no agyagya mu na afei yɛn abɛso ɔmɛn resɛ yɛ o yɛn nso resɛ yɛ o ɔde mo mmea a yɛn nyinaa mmea yɛnim nipa ɛyɛ momma yɛmpa wɔn so ntama na wɔn ho no adi
wɔn sɛ amanyɔfo ka ho
wɔn
ahemfo ka ho bambɔfo ka ho
na yɛrekɔ nyinaa no nso nkyerɛkyerɛmu no ɛne adesua no nkɔ so sɛnea yɛmmɔ dawuro no daa sɛ yiw ɛnyɛ aban mede da bia na meka sɛ ade bi ɛboɔ man na ɛnyɛ aban na ɔbɛyɛ ama ɛyɛ mankasa ɛfiri sɛ yɛyɛ no ɔmɛnyɛ nyinaa sɛe yɛnya baabi nyɛ afu yɛnya nsu pa nnom yɛn ho ntɔ yɛn a obi yɛ nkum a wobɛwu nti ade nti na mepɛ sɛ mesɛn me ho bra me nkwa onyankopɔn sɛ mentew so yɛ na mepɛ sɛ metew so ɛno nti yɛn nyinaa yɛmfɛ yɛn ani ase vigilance is the price of liberty yɛmfɛ yɛn ani ase ne yɛhwɛ sɛ saa nneɛma yi ɛkɔ dɛm wohu sɛ obi yɛ saa de no a ɛyɛ mede sɛ wɔde numbers bi abɛto abɔnten telephone numbers sɛ wohu sɛ biribi kɔ so a da no adi ɛyɛ asɛmpa yɛnda no adi na mmom yɛda no adi a wɔnkɔyi amma wɔmfa nyɛ adwuma wɔmfa wo nan si fam yiw afei wɔn a wɔhwɛ sɛ mmara no bɛyɛ adwuma pɛn no nso yiw yɛma wɔnyɛ adwuma no sɛneɛ sɛ wɔnhwehwɛ anim biara ɛfiri sɛ yɛnam owu ne nkwankwanta adeɛ a yɛyɛ yi ɛbɛdu baabi no sɛ yɛtua so kɔ a wobɛhu sɛ ɔman yi ni hɔ yɛni asase yɛni nnɔbae yɛni ɛne saa ɛba no saa a wonni nkwa afei wobɛkra nsu yɛteɛ mpo no nneɛma a yɛkra mpo yɛn ano dam no afei yɛkra nsu moma yɛnkɔ sɛ ɔkwan no so yɛtoro da biara presbyfo dwoma yɛ medɛ no mɛsan ato bio wɔ ha ɔsɛ hwehwɛ awurade nnɛ na da kɛse no ntu koma yɛnhwehwɛ nokware yɛde bɛyɛ saa nneɛma yi yɛbɛsi ne pi yɛbɛsi ne ta yɛsi gyina pa ne yɛde ayɛ na da kɛse no ntu yɛn koma da kɛse no ne sɛ yɛasɛ biribiara na afei de wokra nsu fi Cote d'Ivoire Nigeria na wabɛnom saa da ne da kɛse no ɛbɛtu yɛn koma kwame ma nuato
Yedasi Bebe, Dr. Kwame Asa Asante, Senior Lecturer, University of Ghana, Legon. And I'm attending Castle Oche, Najne, Efa. The issue of Galamsey. Will we ever get to the bottom of it? I think, it's only Kokrokoo Madrin. Tell Atik, if you don't have a suspect to put on trial at the court, tell the court. And get the equipment given out to the appropriate state institution on the orders of the court. It is so difficult to advocate for amendment of the existing law if there are challenges. Or is it so difficult to advocate for the amendment of the existing law if there are challenges? Emotions are not a substitute for legality. Over to you, Atik.
Chairman, my lawyer friend be as an I mean, and it's an interesting viewpoint at all. Also, I arrest the champagne machines or the excavators, and the owner will show up in court. It would be ridiculous to appear in court, Chairman, and say, "Oh, I arrested these excavators on the way." Intimidate back court, give me an order to assign these to a state agency. This is not captured under any law. It's not captured under any law. Say, wako easy excavators. Nobody has owned up. Now they are court. Edian na capture court no.
Say your cooperation, your coin.
Chairman, can you imagine how ridiculous you sound to the judge? I mean, without sounding.
Crawford about Johnny. And you see your equipment, judge my own crata.
How? What if Chairman won't say no? Sebi, I'm not a judge, and I am not even for a second attempting to be in the mind of any judge. But Chairman, I shouldn't think any judge. But they need a judgment no man order no man saying.
Okay, Kweku City is in Abema order.
In the matter of the public versus unknown excavator and unknown owner.
If the equipment being used was being used for illegal means and the suspects ran away, the seized equipment qualified to be confiscated to the state on the orders of the court. The only missing link will be that there will be no prosecution of the runaway field operators because they obviously have run away. But the truth of the matter is that those runaway suspects or operators are usually not the actual owners of the excavators. Investigations could therefore help unravel the actual owners and how the excavators found their way to the Galamsey site. Let's stick to what the law says. If we think it is not working, let us call for an amendment. But we should not legalize illegality.
Chairman, well, this could be an unending debate because I strongly disagree with that position, sir. In the absence of any culprits, you can proceed to court and say, sir, I mean, bedding. But in any case, Chairman.
And Kweku Free comes back.
Oh,
God. Kweku Free says, if it is true that government and party officials are involved in Galamsey, and the same security people on the orders of the government are detonating their own equipment, why should they bother anybody? Kweku Free, but as your namesake Kweku Baku has said, some of these people are not the real owners of the equipment. So what do we do? Anyway.
Near confiscated, under which law were they confiscated? Did we go to any court for the court to order their confiscation? Near task force in Chichama. Is that what we did? Chairman, you many people we are doing a serious onslaught. Say, see, I who excavator na. Yes, you security for Omujana Munja na young cockot na ye Jordan no ba will come and evacuate it. Obeba no mudi omadiako. Chairman, you see, look, the law is founded on pragmatism. I was just hesitant to quote this popular legal dictum that the law is made for man and not man for the law. Chairman, Odruho operation omeni abria soldier for any abria omo operation omaba nkrofo dwaneja excavator and they are like, okay, let's go to the next site. Na yeman nkrofo nkoko tunkoji order. Senebe we can evacuate Sir Adi because without the confiscation order from the court, yentimi nyahushi. This onslaught, and it would have been waste of our time and our resources.
Let me move on with my time then, and Mamiko T. Samioku, because the other issue is coming up, the issue of Fix-It. Samioku has been quoted that Rome was not built in a day. And Dr. Kwame says, I think I'm sure would have his own thoughts as well. It is, the issue of Galamsey, the rumor mill is rife. Yes, mo party for, Impenyu for, Abemu for, Ahem for, Ebika. Okra for Eastern region. Where Galamsey now?
Me assure says is a crazy suspect on the minds of others.
So at times of Eastern region.
Yo,
but
and 2 places in Eastern region. Equipment North, and a New Javan South. So far, these constituencies, me, no, and places, me, who say, yeah, to me, I'm mine even salt a few.
Maybe a Utiabo.
Chairman General Neri kind of my chair with you for.
Yeah, Joseph.
Mr. Mensah, so Mama Basono production team.
Yeah, that's you know that year.
You better now say, Chairman, and you say right. Your privilege being a Yenya. Kagana phone Nanya and compass on Betanabi. You use your platform to do 3 things, which to me, you know, and a boama your discourse, you know, a question. 3 things I will use today to educate, to inform, and to entertain.
Yeah.
My fat may be kind mining issues, and I say, Galamsey.
Illegal mining.
Illegal small scale mining, and I say illegal mining. A very difficult operation to undertake. Now, I want the consequences.
No one's
so. And a war the positives and negatives. My main far the positives. So what drain the next generation in Chirima young warm anything I move forward. Bijidi say ya namoa aban to a see a boa buying, ye shining crying, na ye tarnichi. President Akufo-Addo can send be the stakeholders conference Minia Samuel Abujinapo, new lands minister by Omodeshe so. Or say we cannot win the fight. See a yet partisan in embarking on this journey. A clear said previous administrations Esther TV by Intini pay. President Akufo-Addo his first term or the even the presidency to line. So nobody can convince me say in undertaking that exercise he didn't lose some vote. He did. Because if more they won't look at the bigger picture. But the mere fact is Nana kobo from eko febiba eko washe eko ton we when you be to the bottom. A buying sa operation na you embark upon. Say you be boating suneni you be take out the small illegal mining activities from your near my ye. We know be any one in that light. Now I thought we were on the same page. To send me home video of me and me after the elections. Say I thought we were on the same page. I mean Kwaku say hey and this year we need we are mon farm near mamu tools mukukunka back. It gives you the impression say one here parties me no bako ever right na bako for left. And it's a numbers game. Politics is a numbers game. See you nani decided say this is the project is here near the boy mine. Na chairman ye nan ye anko on the same path. Na ebimo yet to say no ye the yen ye domo ye dream ho. Into omo pamomo ye buy be mama ba. That fight can never be won. It becomes partisan and I want here just say you'll be damaged before you even complete it. And that is where my worry is. And chairman, yet not radio is so calm. You see, Obo Onoma or Pristia Huni Valley. Ejuma when him all his life in your teaching.
Yeah.
And your nursing, mining. Mining nemunya de bonio. But they say mining in our river bodies. Any
forest reserves.
Any forest reserves. Any unsuitable methods of mining. And only a can was
yeah.
Okay. The meaning is that I buying against mining.
There be.
But mining a year or in forest a year preservable for Njima. There's this popular saying. They say when the last tree dies, the last man dies. Whether a true or false, the last tree in way. But it's clear says who do baby now share the ambience or share the lines and now say or make me a protector of my ecosystem. Any or more trees or reasons where Mukani you fall in love with it. There's an interesting thing happening. First, not the middle class and the upper class, or more appetite for luxury. A cost. But I say many more people are going back to the village style. ɔpɛ baabi a ɔbɛkɔ akɔtena baabi a wɔ trees wɔ yɛabɔ mpɛsi a kyɛ sɛ kontomire a yɛnkyeeɛ anakyɛ ma meboa and now you find that food no mmom no not ahiafo aduane but aduane a now you think ɛna nutritious na sɛ mekɔfa a yɛ nipa baako bi hɔ ɛwɔ some resort bi na metwam ahwɛ adeɛ wɔ Edu Chrome side hɔ no baabi a meka na wɔhwɛ the setting na ɛwɔ hɔ nom a very antique ɛna nnuanom deɛ ɛne ɛmɛnna asɛ nea woda kwaeɛ mu but ɛno those times na ɛka sɛ kɔda mu anka wonam deɛ ɛka na meka ba bɛsi asɛm so sɛ yɛn doctors one doctors ni bi kasa they tell you say there's a new trend ɛne yareɛ ni bi a astate ɛba Ghana they suspect sɛ wotresi a ebi bɛfa saa mercury ɛne nneɛma na wɔn de yɛ mining wɔ yɛn nsuo mu no ɛnɛ na yɛ on head of say nka Ghana ɔbɛwo akɔla na wɔnyɛ deformity but say na these are cases coming up ebi mu wɔ hɔnom a ayɛ kidney related diseases Kokrokoo mu no na obɛhwɛ baabi efi ba na ɛyɛ na predominantly efi mining areas ebi wɔ hɔnom a sɛ yɛbɛwo akɔla na ne hone eni hɔ bu ana na so eni hɔ and these things ayare wɔ mu no kyɛ sɛ ebɛdibɛ 10 years ansana what start here experiencing some of these things patches ansana yawo bi a saa deform kyɛ sɛ wanom nso na di hɔ aduane contaminated nneɛma na ne chemicals ɛwɔ mu a ɛsunsunsansoɔ na ɛba and I support government in its drive say once a yɛn nuanom mmeranteɛ wekɔ de yɛ ama ne ndɔso wɔm mmeranteɛ ne mmabu ɛyɛ mining no aban support a ɔde ma wɔn mo ɛne sɛ yɛboɔ wɔn atete wɔm ɛba community mining sɛ na bi a mbɛka mo ho abom yɛapɛ concession mutu ɛfɔm a ɛnyɛ forest mu ɛnyɛ nsuo mu wi a yɛaboa ma yɛ reclamation which is key cause wodɔ fɔm na wutu uwie saa reclamations wayɛ no na waduadua nneɛma so wɔ saa asase no so abɛ ɛne saa nneɛma no sɛ bi asɔyɛ no ne rich you know wasan restore no back
but you see asɛm sɔre ebi bisa sɛ mmeranteɛ ni baba ɔma bɛhu sika o
oh chairman cash
nti o ka kyerɛ sɛ ɔnkɔdɔ abɛ
meyɛ oh no sɛ nyɛ no abɛ ne sɛ abɛ ne deɛ land reclamation wayɛ no na wo sɛ ɔms yɛnua trees ɛne nnuban a ɛbɛtumi asisi saa land na yɛ destroy no now no saa tree ni so nyi no na sa provide the environment with saa ne natural setting na ɛwɔ chairman sɛ wokɔ galamsey site don't look at ɔmo na yɛ fi no
there
anadwo no is kanisi ayɛ te sɛ Kumasi akrakyefo bi ane akayafo daytime no bɛhu no ɛyɛ friend sɛ ketia ɛne asafo ɔno na ɛyɛ ebi a ketia ne ɛyi ba anadwo no bɛhu no ɔkra bi ɛne Vienna ko ne ɔnom no ɔnom bi wahyɛ ɔpaka top paka down Adidas photo hyɛ bi it's no difference in back to the mining sector sɛmo a making mekɔ Pristia Echo Winnie Valley during the campaign Echo Abenfi was Samra boy Esako was Echo. Let me take Pristia. Let me take Winnie Valley. Chairman, my first experience at a major mining site. Me sa unse wona masase ne so no. Operation e cost was here.
Yeah.
Into wonam surface now wa kwehwehwam oh ya ma we there organizer be one no abasata na efi efom waba first face. Now chairman, I had an experience of going down. Now you took Kokrokoo I say osha o table is where me say be middle. I just say o kwa e rare one you na down ho no just say another world on this one. You didi wo ho. Ye niema wo ho and yes I adwuma wo.
Mine papa na illegal.
Small scale mining in site.
Okay.
Now when the crown no e ho no na ye aban and negotiate community mining and the amount. But do mining area on am say anyone now nams assassins do won here or they see a receive your guest. You person don't call baby things are happening now. Call form. A chairman campaign politics in Nipa do actually. Mirasio na say two things. Say bugu mu maybe. Unya ti di na bam bi when say na jono happy hour. No what transfer no be good and relaxing. And when you engage this young man, chairman, difficult. You see, traditionally it's difficult to change. But when progress demands change, that there must be. It will take a while, this orientation. And for them to understand the alternative livelihood, it can be farming. And then number two, as also you bet me I practice safe methods of mining. I am not against a buying initiative, and I support it 100%. Say you better take it out almost mining in the forest reserve, almost saying so. But almost also put you on together community mining.
Yeah.
When you will run the risk of your boom, because mind you, the community mining was a government program. You could train him run to your University of Mines, and yes, with university certificate. By your training on these methods of mining and your mom certificate, you're born on how to practice it. But what we lack are your mining inspectors. So if you cramona your training mona, your cars, your more safe methods of mining. Moko field on how are you applying near your trail?
And are you doing it according to?
And are you doing it according
limits,
to concession limit? Eka yedemao any other. Because in government in the first term, say move vanguard, you move task force. Okay, I don't have evidence to suggest. But you see, a SRA for no, a police for no, they ended up benefiting. I don't have any evidence to say no credit and no credit. But don't go down one more. Team Mufone, young boys, back at say, organizer, where you share your operational cost. But for me, where do you where no matter how 2 years or so. And it's very easy to accuse party leadership of being part of the small scale mining. And I say, in fact, illegal mining. Why? Because Chairman General met you an organizer, Obi to a general secretary, Obi to a chairman, Obi to a say. Now party near Frau say, oh, your machine, yet baby a crowd and quiet, you many BTO. Any other fire machine in the say. Now, course or the better town, one where you be compelled. Say, why buy initiative for their token? You go against it.
Sure.
Obekwa ko remu no nya say machine no si ho say machine no na ye operation e wo site ti wan hwe na akoye sa wrong phone call na nipa na wa frɛ no no so aka che obi so national youth organizer MPP na frɛ national organizer na frɛ mo o say ya che ne call to make so ade you don't benefit once you see politicians when we see numbers we see vote. You a businessman, when you see numbers you see profit,
you see cash.
Into interest, time biano and a conflict. To me counting vote, no counter profit. Into how I remember balancing me vote, to make sure say ye trom near my power money, and when they go wrong, the law applies. Me man tell about baby and Menos Commission, Papa or Mr. Easy, and in your call and Kibosia will tell you. One more bar, Mr. Abranti, open say a boawa. Me chom gukam, nam your mark Menos Commission. And they'll tell you, me ban some 90 on person mo ye mining. Me musu ye no. Into patch mo form na kwanu. So more concession among from how our process on bet me register. Me and from how they can practice. Me say you can call Mr. Ntribo or easy. But no be an beba. Then there's another way we are also losing revenue with even this small scale mining. That the adrian call. Chairman. Say export lines in the export no na ye je sika anameboa okay say no more at the gate even so shepit bi mu ewo Samra boy or no and by close of the week when you 1 kg 1 kilogram
which is $51,000
no which is about $50,000 $51,000 or no sa e ho na menatic me no te ha obi a monitor no into when you obi no kwoto wo sa field ho sa $51,000 no ono ntua on tax but instead no this I go make farmer money then at the airport near city so now what some of these people do is that sa gold no okwa no the high school driver no the bia e chain kakraka na dan kom to check luggage ni mu a say we dey tools me boa so the could do this some me chama street boy kakra mini kakra oh chama it oh the way you've chama ejuma we enye bishop for nkwa ne omo nante o chairman ejuma we no bad boys nante me aso for nante e bi kwa robbers so You know, oh yeah, you were not copy voter.
That's accessory to
no,
crime.
No. So the
You
panel now you don't have
eh?
the time to convert him to become a bishop and son what to Obama. So they are managing, you know. Unya so phobia the national sa. Saram pese be chance. Inti odibia screwdriver, odibia chain. Or boy crowd the big cry a year bag way. So for you, the person is not exporting gold and anyama. But the koduwa, the state loses. Into the mining sector, there's a lot we can do there as a country. Me say we are concentrating on even what we export. But at the local level, me say a day and a week.
Yeah.
Someone goes home with 500,000 cedis.
Oh yeah.
On your tax.
Week.
Yeah.
Bam.
Into no. Once I am happy say this new minister is taking many of these things into consideration. And also as a country, me say Emranti and Upo chairman, at the end of from Onyai, but young children how keep off two major areas, our water bodies and forest reserve. Then more year Jumana so let's have some inspectors to guide these young people. Chairman obi one man ho na po na ho don't mean ko fishing. Ne one so be a farmland. Farmland is no ma say no. Make kind bibi kakra and chepi. Where South Africa was a major producer of gold. And at a point, now we produce over 1/3 of the world's demand. And now we produce about 3% of it globally. Meaning that the NHF for one, we are there out to a dumribia ebesa. At this point in time, they keep coming to me. They bring and not crazy by Oba no catch us a massa. Ufam na kwanso na de yejuma. Cause patapapi to credit ranero. If ufam na kwanso and na ABH chinchimusa, then we follow you, we help you. But one farm na kwanso a my way near high end ye jantua. When we red light our crossing, Odin Chairman General and also ni maintain no funny phone no afraid. It in no name Chairman General, anonymous, anonym doc. Or no, no, then or the Jan found corruption, and I'm a boy. As opinions, I can't say be the can.
Yes, corruption is affecting our friend connection.
Chairman, for me, I think it's about the destruction of the property. There's a law guide, and that's why I disagree with that. Unya kofa, emrana say menko police custody. You shame me who say there now dey one family akwansko na dey nyai. And now dey so a part of a nationwide exercise. You need to so and affecting our forest system, the land degradation, and then water bodies. And then chairman only nipa only embrace so when. But na mesre say President Akufo-Addo and the minister will not be by the troops or the personnel in every pit or site they will visit. The government is believing said the trust are both or not abiding the Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Interior, because these are the two collaborative agencies, and lands. It is the hope of government that they will exercise good judgment and good faith. Near the aboa, sir, is anya sir. Obiso so betimi you do this same exercise. Chairman.
Yeah.
Ed so ed dia cause more damage. If you are na nipa no on count. Mind you, there are some people too who are doing legal business on core water body, on core forest reserve. They are operating to here. The woman na benum na fe then it brings embarrassment. I think that Melbourne is also no. It's about time. Also, MEG to me say it's not about what we are getting today, because one we are bit me and who can about the best. Because when in so your water bodies are destroyed, no, and no be an album, and no be an befa tap, and a nubia so na wunu anase wo hu kani anase wo busuani so besafa. Na yam koso so your operation yes and koso with orientation. Now I think sir it's a difficult exercise. President Akufo-Addo ehia na support and our help. And I am confident say at the end of it, we will come out stronger. I don't know if you want me to touch on.
Let me just read a few messages. I remember or fix it, because when I actually did. This one says, I feel a lot of pity for the president. We will lose this fight if we don't get independent-minded people to do that instead of ministers and party members. Samuel Kumans know that at this juncture, party members are fighting for their own parochial interest and not the legacy of the president. They should stop the talk and crack the whip. Gusty man in Brekum. Sami Oku is struggling. Tell him in 2024, Ghanaians will teach the MPP a lesson. Chairman Kweku Shaibu Seshi Buako. Galamsey is destroying our land. Let's all come together and say no. Ankuma Foster Achim Ayurebi. Walanyo in Akwetia. If you just stop mining along the riverside, you refuse to stop then. The burning of the excavator should not be excusable. Okay, I'm trying to figure out what exactly you are trying to get through to us. But anyway, has anyone litigated through the court system in Ghana before? I can tell you straight away that going to court in the matter of the excavators is not a viable option at all. Just compare the gargantuan murder trial of George Floyd. It took all of 3 weeks to resolve. Come to Ghana. JB Dankwa trial, 5 years old. No end in sight. I beg, burn the excavators. Nana Isidubois for the second. Sankobase Etiwa district. Opache say adjournment is come to think of it, George Floyd, speed. Anyway, somebody who say the circumstances are very, very different until we shouldn't compare. Kwame Asari in Adringano says, armed robbers, drug dealers, corrupt government and public officials, and fraudsters have all have experienced the sweetness of cash. So should we allow them because of the experience? Burn those excavators. Hashtag burn the excavators. Kwame, we understand, but the money they will fine us doesn't go to the government. It goes into their pockets. Asantua in Texas sends that one. Let's see. Tell Samuel Oku that the issue is the condoning of the illegal act, which is destroying our water bodies and degrading our environment. Secondly, he must balance the votes in the national interest. No mining in prohibited bodies. Obatampa, Frances, Irabna, Esiam, CEO Ghana Cylinder Manufacturer.
President Ekufuado. No. He supported this project of government. Right. And the president deserves all our support. But where you have president and a party, focusing on the right, then behind the scenes, the political system, I don't give you that needed support. Uwakoye anopa area to read the place. Then Banakushia, Omwa Yabajom Niamana Jose, Monkama Kumantumoye, Yaba on Sabeka. It makes that fight difficult.
Citizen Francis says, we'll fix and continue fixing the country collectively. Citizen Francis, NPP, Facebook caucus. Sammy?
Yes. I think my memory quick now.
No worries.
Right. I don't know how what I said has been captured, but...
Said Rome was not built in a day.
And I said it in a context.
What's it then?
My mechanic said, Chairman, over the last few days, a social media trend and Peace FM. Really serious concerns. One, about our governance, and two, the development. And it's an reasonable. Nana make say, Chairman, nobody ever predicted 2020. The Nana Yesusa Papa J Vision 2020, Vision 2020. Say na Vision 2020 ne be year it soon be do yasi. Chairman General per traveling pa.
Sisi maka.
Sisi waka. The last time I met, I should share my passport, baby. Because traveling in Poko, I be mas. Now, what do you know? They jade them. Oh, now, one so your west. You are stuck. Chairman, who share say the world economy? Now, I may share BB our internet. So 2 days ago, now I printed 2 different documents. Now, from the World Economic Forum on my page. I say an economist explains what COVID-19 has done to the global economy. And the other one is how the pandemic has changed the world economy. Chairman, can't be anywhere apart from China last year, our economy grew by 2.3%. Almost every major or minor economy will take a hit. Now, in the midst of crisis, and my expressing on the social media about the concerns. Me, as former youth organizer, former 1 or 2 meeting agitator general,
youth.
take more mass action. and nothing be, and I agree with concerns from my race. However, it's up to us as a government and a party to also explain the effort we are making. That is not the job of Omonte, what government is doing. Obu also did say, Abayi yebi, but government must scale up, and it's a different matter. If I have neutrals talking, Obu on your partisan, doctor say, on your partisan, I think you're partisan, maybe a partisan. What you say, no, oh, yeah, GCPP. Convenient party for you. Whatever. There be a more concern against me. Teacher, man, make us support Bia. I color the concern.
The protest, yeah.
But me jai Emma your everyday politicians also raise your issues. Now I don't know you read it in different light. And I said, sir, look, Obi wo hono mo baby I wote me enye kwan no. But the nay abaya ye ho. Ti say nipa no ka say fix our road a ono de da nanim no ya ye. But obi de ye nye. Aban so ba ye enye everybody ene wenye adwuma. Let's be fair. But anya no ni mo nipa ba ko mienu bi a wenye adwuma. Aban ba ye Ghana nye ti say amanone. But you and I will agree, sir, from 2017, 2018, 2019, we were doing well till we got struck by this pandemic. At first, so we were no more. Our phobia no what twins. And at first, we didn't have another man be school. And then, what means so it means to come to us one man bar unto ya. And man, you remember year day under COVID about water. Any other day, Aban said, you say you don't cry anymore. Aban also did this part. And they move water. Any other incentives, my frontline workers. All I'm saying is that because now Rome was not built in a day. But once the builders of Rome are not stealing the building materials, it gives me hope that Rome will be built too in Ghana. And I said, Sir President Akufo-Addo and the government, they've made great strides. But it's also important that as a government, you know, and many be bar, the sector CBA, ese ombeya no almost back nom de omanu disem atuja. Somebody raises a concern, so Sammy. Not cement 38 cities. They say I do 50 cities, you say 51.
Yes.
Now, you also expect say agencies are ebi almost share animals about trade, about industry, about say ebi almost also no about say yeah we've observed say this increment ebi this is the explanation behind it. And chairman, now no pe umpo ebi say I din atik enye joke globally, continentally, locally. And we are not in ordinary times. First, so crania mafia manone bar. Chairman, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Now, Baby do shows where you are there. Meboa. Say, Bedu no more. Yes, I quarantine ship, no, for about 2 weeks. As part of the protocol measures. Meanwhile, the only person, mind you, the end user and you pass it, sir, bill cost the amount. Again, it's important as a government. Yes, you bet you last year. President said in the midst of the pandemic, see basically over 88 hospitals plus regional hospitals here be back home. Now, a year people say a year no yenya hinting abane lie to us. No. For the year no abane
now hospitals here be see here.
And I may back catch one, I may banzo who say cry na baby outi. My phone explanation be as a communicator for government and the party. You even doubt say something will be done. But I can tell you. Over the last 1 year, somebody will tell me, so where they said something between the 2 weeks or any other, which is not true. One, site now, Okofanya, if you want no more, you need to negotiate with him for any will be any idea. Number two, siting of hospitals, sub-in previous, is different from siting a radio station. Because hospital, you share even the soil texture. You say a flood prone area.
Now,
Chairman, and I may say, the president. Chairman, no, it's up to the president to make the policy announcement. And it's up to the technocrats to support that policy announcement now to bring it into fruition.
Because 88 they are true. No. Because only say 88 say 111.
Chairman, oh yeah, that's what I'm saying.
From 88 it's gone to 111.
I can tell you confidently.
Yeah.
That all these 101 are okay.
Yeah.
The contracts have been awarded.
111.
Yes. And I say the contracts have been awarded.
You best started that.
Contractors selected. And yes, what? I mean, if you party mu, me try control. And
Chairman,
from
when
next
were the
month.
advertisements made. Oh, sorry. Sorry.
I think in that.
No,
But I think
so.
Bisani said contract award, the contractor selected. Ne Krakran said that when he started.
From next month they will be cutting sauce for many days.
Now do you have to cut sword again?
Na chairman na on cut sword. No sorry, I put piece of museum. One me try tape.
Debbie.
One me try tape.
Debbie.
Na bet na yes. Chairman, but no credit. That's just on the side. But what I'm saying is, some of the sites, the assemblies need be brought. See Nkosi hospitals and also expert no consultants and question any suitable. Obu also baby selecting you know back on manson that's is taking them painful period. But the good news is that now that we are about to take off, it's important we communicate. Me saban bi abaye and anko no so dey need shame one. Kebe easy. Now we have about 232 of these 1D1F factories at various stages of completion. 76 are operational and completed. Out of these 76 now, it be a greenfields, it be a brownfields. Greenfields are there from scratch, you see here. Brownfields are there, you boa betrim. But if aban biya na die kakran like we did, would have fixed Ghana. All I said was that, and which I stand by saying, there are little things we can do to support government in this pandemic. Look, Chairman, umpo, ekana bedewiaseno is going to take years for the world to recover. Unemployment, Oko South Africa, say, omati wages is so abafom. Oma slash the wages of workers. Nigeria is considering same. Ghana by say no. Yeah, they say na I want to more. Let's hold each other. Me as a president and vice and my executive, you freeze even increment. Chairman, President Akufo-Addo and the MPP, and yes, on Madani Omochi. Now, at the end of the Jawa near the Asumao, you cannot blame Obia because they say Obiti Wuhan, whether Okosinizi ya no Kokofe. Obi ono ton wache wa Beka Junction, wache coronavirus in their own plane seat across soda. And that is how, as I say, you are being interconnected. Into your best, you know, me say concerns on my raising chairman, me menya pa, nanka Ghana nemu no, a movie beyond the concerns they are raising. But we find ourselves in a situation where near Wusu Akwane Wono, and Komwa, no boy, Bessia, na grant, no, or also now is practicing protectionism, or no dear Kakra, or no the Shanaman for. Into your best, me say the concerns may and can I would have been tempted if I was an opposition element to even say so we make be. But the danger of it is that will throw the baby with the bad water. NPP Pokrana they credit this party and government as better managers of the economy. Now then you can also think about the alternative. And then by now, no, what the idea see has here, so the try videos ideas. Can I want to talk the support to the group of companies? Me, I associate myself, say, with the concern of every Ghanaian, say we want things to be better. But we are in a situation where Abai is doing what it can. Let's encourage President Akufo-Addo and the government. Me, not chairman. Me, I'm confident, say, at the way, by end of year. At least, we can breathe well. For instance, I'll share your intermittent power outages lately. Abai recognize and say these three phases about power, Niema, the generation, the transmission, and the distribution. Where you have a problem, the first two. Because generation, buine VR, aqua hydro, insuring woman, you have little options. Over transmission, Gridco is complaining some machines, baby, are obsolete. Either you leave it to crash one day and you embark on an exercise to replace it. It'll come with discomfort. The last stage is the distribution of the power. Now, Oko Kaswa, Oko Pokwase, government AC bulk supply point. And Moses Napo and his team, they've been busily moving around with it. And the population increase, as I say, and then Obia here in a modern Kenya. And again and lastly, Chairman General, I keep telling people, say God is not creating new land. But God is creating new human beings every day. And that is all my year warm. Now, Nipana year warm your population is growing. They are going to also rely on these essentials that you have. You have to keep expanding. And now both the Kaswa and the Pokwase one and the Kumasi Kintampo transmission points and lines. Ebeka na aban year no getting to the end of the year. I am confident say at least we can have a better Christmas. Inti when I make an message the advice account. Chairman, our president has exhibited modesty. Here you didn't as appointees, as party leaders, party executives, any year now. Let's learn from that modesty. And yet, remember, Dano, I feel I a party executive and I appointee. Oba show us on a war Bema Ukru.
Obega
guy. And no sano, and the brain and am. Kakrawa one, Ununia check. One no for nam and no for and your cousin, we are brothers.
Very good.
And yes, I will one for whom I say, my brother, because oh brother, and wine. When we share. And our face also in how you communicate to people in spite of the situation we are in. You should be guided to say, one, we are not in ordinary times as a people of the world and also as a country. Now, if you want money, you can afford to do it. You can afford to throw ABA parties. But ABA na a well seeker. But one way you are not in channel, a benefit the year breno, a be more enjoy. Into your best. And I know, and finally, and also in conclusion, the Esra Ghana phone say, Nana do I be? Why be that? Let's trust him, say, just as he did for the first 3 years of his government. What we are going to, on our account, say, this too shall pass. And I'm confident, say, Nanado and the MPP will take us out by the end of the year. We can have our lives back. Assalamu alaikum. Use it to wish all our women, mothers, our friends who are ladies, all happy Mother's Day.
Na augu
yes sir
inti mo
when no come as na dey take me preach here
me be bisa okeke say inti
the question be na you bisa obi kasa say we are question be na you bisa
I also bisa
imagine
mo MPP for no
yes sir
mo chro sa book na mo face no
book na
Facebook
sa mo book bi na mo face no ene mo tweet ni ade no
yeah.
So, do they have the information you have?
Oh, I think it's a very tricky question. Two things. When you seek information, you will get.
Are you saying some of them don't seek?
And some of you know, my chairman here, I go with your tolerance level, you're different. Maybe you need to go. Or not say, I'm short fuse. I'm not.
No,
I'm not saying that or no trouble. Me a come any disagreement. And do 1 minute kwa na tikwa pai. Obi one is obeying opportunity. I think say the party will also be engaging its communicators. Look, baby, I want to insult driven. Let the people understand.
Asama me bisa no ya no.
Then we give them all.
Also, for tolerance level they are different.
Yes.
Ana me bisa say mo nkrofo no mo tro o mo face sa book no mo communicators
our communicators
party sympathizers
sympathizer any communicator of the party so you obi one ma onye communicator of the party but we call social media be when una dan for NDC ni bi ebi mo yo ma de genuine one of this fix it baby as in yakopon ma elbow basketball no bonzo bo Samsung ma elbow chaskeli wo na you playground ti won say ebia ni NDC ni abetcho because ni NDC ni no can be no chance dia ono so beto amane. But I think sir the information what we are doing as a government is been available from the Ministry of Information to government communication to party communication. But if it's something we need to do more, we owe it as a duty to do more. Look, we came to the Ghanaian people, yadin kotose, inside and sayem respect and our door and Ghana for Sademai. For more for Nana to do more.
Yeah, the form on Mamma. More to do no more, no so my.
Not to do more, no. And Abai is doing his part. Chairman, you cannot also tell me the name of Makenkai watch and Ghana is not in isolation.
Nobody has said it.
Chairman, I've given you an example. Instead of 3 weeks, it takes 6 weeks. A bedu was saying no cost no be cost. See, you say, oh, okay, now you say na Abai aye. This is a government. I share Obi Kase Kufuado Abai listening. Then that person is being unfair to the man and the government. You buy Bemu first 2017, towing levy. You bet so fresh, and this for now pass. I say no. It's just an agitation bar. It is a piece of inquiry. You are the center. I say no. You ain't trying so. Not Ghana frontiers here. Let's shelve it. DVLA kit, first aid. I say, hey, ne boarding. Upon say, I want to know, and I say, yeah, the best way to go about it. This same government under COVID, and for brand a democrat shows from Bekwejuma, our health professionals. This government intervened. And say, yeah, more incentives, yeah, support to them, yeah, wow.
Ain't he say, Obi Kokase fix it. I didn't know one church you to send our church might be dear term.
Oh, Chairman, Omo Mudia, tell the Omama lesson. I mean, call book of the face. And see,
yes, Obi, I think so.
Now, Chairman, so soon in social media. Then I'm a
make us a man now. Me see me there, me Facebook page, me more fan page, and a pebiano. Me doing words of motivation to and me free home.
You see how technology has changed you. First, studio I catch and say, the reason why Kokrokoo can never go live.
Let me pay TV. I've succumbed.
What was a man's watch was a da? Well, Brabona take it dive. When take it dive, Nibia. I think, sir, and I know, sir, our hard-working communications director, Yabuabi, and the team, they met. And I know today they are going to meet. They are also trying to rope in anybody here who is also not communicating rightly on these matters. We're not here. First of all, let's put our side of the story. Let the person understand. Say, "No feeling no. It won't say you go through yaum any or how the government feels the same. But in your Ghana, globally, people around the world are feeling the pinch at the pump.
Globally, people around the world are feeling the pinch at the pump." Peace 104.3 Samuel, who is the national organizer of the NPP. Dr. Sasanti Kache. Doc, bring on this fix it, and then I'll go to Atik Nefeya. Sorry, so. Yo.
Kwame.
Yeah, Ja.
Metier, fix the country. Yo. Na, my boss to tell. Na, young aquantum. Kwame, me yo teacher ninti. I am en how. I'm the name of the film.
Yo.
Aristotle. I need is a politics a day. Na wabings will be an. O my and Casa who again say Yarisha Banga, who rules and in whose interest? Yo.
Who rules and in whose interest?
Yo. Nti, hina no bu amang no. Is it a monarch or a democrat? Hina. But baby, I'm busy trying anywhere in whose interest? So ubu amang na ubu ama hena yo what is asa mona say a uni how kwame ko constitution no ni ani nkomo ai wo constitution bia
me constitution wa ha
yo yanko the preamble of the 1992 constitution.
The preamble of the 1992 constitution, it says, the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana in the name of the Almighty God. We, the people of Ghana, in exercise of our natural and inalienable right to establish a framework of government, we shall secure for ourselves and posterity the blessings of liberty, equality of opportunity, and prosperity, in a spirit of friendship and peace with all peoples of the world, and in solemn declaration and affirmation of our commitment to freedom, justice, probity, and accountability. Yo.
Utia, probity, accountability.
Yo.
Enunti se ye womengma me to me demand accountability.
Okay.
Nipa wo de meso no. Wo me yinsem bia no. Me to me bis asam.
Okay.
Yanko Article 35(1).
Article 35(1). Intino ka ho pacho me de ayina ay intino. Okay, sure. Me huri me pay speed me huri ako 42. 35(1). Ghana shall be a democratic state dedicated to the realization of freedom and justice, and accordingly, sovereignty resides in the people of Ghana, from whom government derives all its powers and authority through this constitution.
Yeah. Enunti me de to me ma se diomanso me wo ho kwan se bibi kwachewa mebisa memfo ye yang ahoden efe wo ba democracy eye can be namin kambia you directive principle of state policy chire oman akwanchire wo ho ko article 37(1).
37(1). Oh, catch you call any moon say any abre your classroom. Hey, wait. 42 for your Okay, 35, 36, 36, 37. 37:1. The state shall endeavor to secure and protect a social order founded on the ideals and principles of freedom, equality, justice, probity, and accountability, as enshrined in Chapter 5 of this Constitution. And in particular, the state shall direct its policy towards ensuring that every citizen has equality of rights, obligations, and opportunities before the law.
Ahoɔden a mefa wɔ hɔ ɛyɛ probity, accountability, equality, opportunity. So what you say? Nti sɛ me na wote ɔman mu ha na mahu sɛ nneɛma bi wɔ ha menya obi anya. Nneɛma bi wɔ ha nkɔ yie mma me a mewɔ ho kwan. Nti wohwɛ fix the country once a more kana ɔfa bi so no me no wɔn yɛ adwene na me nyina so ni. If say constitution ma wɔn ho kwan. Wokɔ article 36:1.
36:1 there was here and also the state shall take all necessary action to ensure that the national economy is managed in such a manner as to maximize the rate of economic development and to secure the maximum welfare, freedom, and happiness of every person in Ghana, and to provide adequate means of livelihood and suitable employment and public assistance to the needy.
Simplicity. Wahu wokɔ anima nyochra economic well-being of individuals. Me wo hwe esa me sakoma no. Me sam koma no ya. Nti me bisa me wo ho
kwa se me bisa.
So what you say? Na wo hwe 2D ɛhɔ na 36 2D.
36 2D also undertaking even and balanced development of all regions and every part of each region of Ghana, and in particular improving the conditions of life in the rural areas and generally redressing any imbalance in development between the rural and the urban areas.
Development.
Puntu.
Enunti me hu se makwan enye papa wa ha. Akwampa, nsupa, akanea, nkoso, impuntu esi enya. Eyabanga sede se so ye peten omen ma baby ya. Onya obi. Enunti so bibisa so why am from so ana.
David.
Ye mehwe nti yanga kenkan saa niema nyina niema na manante wa no wo bisa no so eye no kware eye no kware o se niema ma yede you taxes aba economy wonya nnwuma na ho niema saa niema na wo bobo so nyina ye ka hye awurade anwunam se eye no kware ofa bi no eye no kware efi se wo hwe nipa bi nya nnwuma wo mu de me wura yi ka sai ɔkyerɛ sɛ nipa bi anya adwuma saa bri ebi mu so nya adwuma ya saa no kwaro no wɔ hɔ obi kura anya adwuma da afei wo hwɛ taxes a wɔde akɔ soro kakra ama ahokyere aba kakra ne afei saa nsɛm ne fare baako ne sɛ yɛwɔ waste bra obi ho akyere no na obi ho tɔn wɔ abɛn na saa ne man obi hwɛ pɛ na ma ne bo afu ɔkɔ me dem no wafuru te sɛ kyɛw I say mountain. And then I say many. Na niri nye. Na ne fare ba ko bio enso ne se bibiara no yere kwa bato a ye hye bɔ ahoro na ye se ye ma ye mbɔ hye ne boro ye ahoden so. Nti edu bia bi na afi wo so ye ndua. Ne a wo kan ma nya ho. Na so maba. Na san ne ma makeka nyina no na de yen akwakodu bia bi en edu. Yo. Na no kware nso ya wom. I want to be fair to the government. Ne say so wo hwa aban mu nanim hu so say saa ne mai onti ase na onim say wo ho. Ne edikan napco adwuma wo be ye wo men ha eje nipa bi ama won adwuma ma ne won sako ha no e no kware obi entumi nziwa no 1D 1F eno nso ababue nipa bi ama won sako ha no a nei wotumi di bubra wo hwe planting for food and jobs. So what you say?
Yeah.
And no say you nyuma bebre. Amo men. Efe ni eto so ye bien was asem no say. Say maka na say ne won aka ni nyina no eye na kwan nan. Baabi kakra e mama adwenu ye mena. Say wo gina ban kon so na wo rige saadi. E mama adwenu ye mena kakra. E bi say aban no wo no abosoma anangni. Efe kura na abang no odekeka ne mesi ye ni deputy ministers wodon ano na abo na mu parliament won koye nti unza abang no on sisi enwie peye on chechira abang ne nwie hwe district chief executives menye ni so won abo bi adim
there
any CEOs nti abang ye fe na ototo ne niama na wagina na nanso ayedum nti so ubisa sa niama ya meje ji say ayentam dodo aye nemum ewo ho kwan say mu fisa ntesu pa no to abang anum na abang to me minute ne yam say hey enua bi rehwe yen nti for me no you with ma bang say eni afiase mabun ani afiase hwe won na wo yade a no ngaye ni me a me kira manyosam no sa adi mfaso ye wo ho e yade ba ko ene den if we bi wo amanyosam say public opinion na unya tesa a wo niam bebre e ye good feedback e kira wo say niam bi nkoyi abange me na wugina ho ma me na sane a niam akono mere pay ma ka kira open me nto sabe ni atini nti abanwa asopa ontie ente sa bang de na so ye ne men kwa me woni me men
cons
yes of I already moya won men no so wo kese wo de waso ye won men na je say unze men ente kasa na aso na ente kasa nti wo de ye be replace asopa na mpesa wo bete ente sa bang ente so de na so ye ne men no tie na asopam o tie na asopam no hu say nia wo kan ya asempa mfanya adwuma nia edi so ne say we share public opinion we share ho ade a esan so buamba abang to me den hyehyɛ paba kwa me mentwe nyina yen adwene nko 1995 me preko so original wo meng ha du ba bi wie me preko sie me preko ene na keka ho vat na wogina so we say what the two na go do 17.5 na ebe kire Ghana fo are wo tugu monten so yo ye kire na efe abang no sang na nchi kwai mvi ase na bang twetwe na ase nti obi a na ho niama efe do hu se okono mura wom ayedin eni nti awodwen ho na wato so ba 12.5 na no na ne yede to nti sa niama woka abang mu ne konko na chi no hwe so bebo ya nga onfanya adwuma na sa niama no ebuabua efe won sa niama wo bi sei da bia na me se wore ye nkonta na wahwe ni fa wahwe benkum sabri ye wo covid bre ahokyeraba se na miwura no ngadi kan akan ahokyeraba pa enu nti wo ma wo kasa ne ye de ne na wanhwe covid ne dan achi pe na no so amankomo no amankomo na ha ebi se covid ni nti nyama bebre wo ho a ete se abangitumi nya yan a ye nnwuma korampo intumi nya nnwuma yan aka den yanko wo se wo kwa adwuma kora wo se bra na wotwe aba mabio etel productivity so nnwuma ye ba form enu nti sa nkonta ne ye ya yemfanya adwuma na kwa me makani nyina no nyama de bekwa awie ne se akwankyere ben na wo ho mitu mra na ma kyerɛ osiw akwankyere di kan ne se abang ye biribi na so modewura ne nkoa no behu obi arente wo ya de bi a bo hu dewuru no binte esan so man adwuma na wo ye sɛb enya wo adwuma na wo ye enu nti ne wo ye mo amanfo no danadi kyerɛkyerɛ nipa mu na wonte as ebisa mranti wo
na so bi so be catch we so wo ye na nkofo no behu a wo behu enya wo na so wo bo no dewuru
da bi ye wo adwuma hwɛ won a eye kristofo be ka kyerɛ wo wo be kan bible mu asam wo pa fa ye adwuma ebisa dakesen wo ho ebetu koma
okay
netu so abien abang enso momodin se obeye na adwuma yi performance he abang antuma anye na adwuma yi a ne wode frank abema no MPP ontumi nya akukudu kura nyina wo so okoko campaign efi so men ha no hwehwe ma kyerɛ se abang adwuma obeyen eno na nkrofo gina so na woto aba efi se ye woni ma bebri abang wo gina so to aba economy infrastructure development fight against corruption health education sani eme nyina nti abanga nya adwuma orinya bibia mfi bebia efei mabunga wonya adwuma eye nokware trodo enye ade obi betuma sakran abang ma na ninko na ne wafiasen onto aso ne munya den wonhwehwe anim mingezo wohwehwe menim na mum wonya adwuma na womu enwuma na enwuma mra na won akosuku wonga braso says we nyuma wonya nyuma ya saa ne ma bebre yi ering hawe na fei waste ne ma ha wo mengi ne se etoda bi ya tu sika gu ya diska ya niema bi a ehunya na wonu ne fara ba ya rekwa abato a wo de ahwe minimum crop bi studies ye hwe economics for bachelors wo free bi say political business cycle ya rekwa abato a ya babo se wo de obi be ye campaign also ye be ye economy ye be na say ye be sonso ye be ye say wo de tumi mana wo ba nso ye wo say you what economy single digit inflation say wo gina won so wo ye niema etie ya rekwa abato a wo nso wo gina won won say what to sika gu monten so ya wo bi say economic theory bengnen what is sika hyenkrofu kotokum wo bu yo Manchester Dakar sika hyem ne sa ne man economic theories nyina wo koto aba won ato agu nti yeto abawia na ho kyera aba owura take anya sa na mo kyera wo economics ren na saden edio men yi nya ne nti yete sa na say you build economy and you destroy the economy nti daben no man no betima gina na nanso o man sika nkonta na ne hyehye papa if se bibi yere kwa bato a yeto sika gu monten so keke yes se ne yere yesika wo men no mu wo se fe ye papa na ahokyere onse yeto abawie yen ne aba bi gina ho eye party fusuban a wo ye na ha wo yen saa de ne ntwa yen ani nko ho na babu an afei ye momoden se ye koto aba esanse ye petumi no promises bo sha horo ne ye ntumi nye na ye ka ne baburu enso bi wo ha sabri mama ayi afe ba ko o memu ha be ye fite fi ni ba bi a bola ni ba bi a wo bo se nkrofo afi ase hwew se so sabri ni nya dua wa ye hu adwuma na wo nye ye wo be kan wa se ye nhwe bo hye na wo digye tumi na ye nhwe bo a ye betumi di so ne ye de aye adwuma eno be bo aye na fe ye wi a ye momoden se bibiara no o men beda ye nkoma so na ya bo modern se nipa wo men mu ha no wo kan bibie betie na yenya yefunu kese ye de betie se obi be kan bibi are nya me de tolerance na mum ne oka no abawom ye tie aye ntie na so pam na se ya ye mfanya adwuma ye ya okwan nenen
obi ti dem ha asema aka na ende no nyanka oba betra bi obetra cha oba ko tra ha ana o ko tra obi gba o
only fight mo ni den na me ba betra ne me bi
I think young boy
Chairman, that's it. I'm saying now we have some quick issues with respect to Galamsia Samika and Hansem, but your name renti make up just one na matoso. Now, some say on him about the measure to ban excavators. Oh,
as for the position of the law.
What is the position of the law?
The law is so far. What about police? And that was what Kokrokoo also tried.
No, that law is founded on the assumption that there is a culprit.
Okay.
But in a situation now, you
think that it's a gray area.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so, in order not to repeat
cycle,
I mean, you get rid of it.
You know, some of the Chinese for immigration official be catches.
I think Kenya near enforcement. Who's a lawyers and Yauke, Obama or Kwanga, what the Marafas. Sir, who say, O person we now the Marai, ye. Ubi and Yeni one famra. Now, person or tenor, or down the pet, on the bit to make court.
No, let the person proceed to court. You see, in America,
Niamekana say, Intina Mecas, I mean, real enforcement. Say, ye enforce, I don't enforce. Mrana da hon.
And that's precisely what, in my view, they are doing.
But so what a show.
No, you see, no
immigration official was the Chinese name or marking any. Aquano Sagalamsin maybe and deport on. There was 4 months later, says no, says Aquana, you're such an ebe deport. But you how many times
do you want to be deported? And when you Semono, why must it be the case? China, the worse that they get any deportation. And these guys can go at Jet Li and return as Jackie Chan. San Omotia. What is here?
Problem of enforcement. Say enforcement and say, Ufuma, I don't court.
But I think what we should look at is ABI the justice system not running slow.
Very slow.
when your judgment on
agree.
this, proceed
Quickly.
to burn it or proceed to destroy it, and no, sir,
No, but
can
me
give-
distraction in the say pashu. Why no. But in respect of culprits, no.
And I guess yes,
We have to
crime
have-
running.
Mmara no na make am, mmara no nkyerɛ sɛ-
to make us say, oh, you're quite abenti, court, I be pre
No, can have special dispensation.
Within
Other
this,
than Galam
yes.
say,
So we can-
to
we
me,
can-
Yeah.
yes.
No, but me Yes.
Nemum, ye tie nyachum. Ye de bu
Yeah.
ye mpese ka. Asem ni
It's slow motion.
That is one.
Aban is in
Better
slow
than
motion.
No motion.
Aban is in slow motion, but it's better than no motion.
Motion. Anyway, I agree.
Abani is not in slow motion.
In respect of
Process,
the judicial process,
no.
no.
One agrees and you say no motion.
No motion.
Something
I mean, ye
like
pese
that.
ye be ye.
Yeah, man.
Chairman, we need to have a special dispensation.
Me no ye lawyer.
Ah.
The one nyama bi e kire
Yo.
kire. Lawyers pad won na asifom. Ye redweno kwan a ye be ye na sa de ye ngadi hu asem na ye ntentem a. Oh, ananse bom changing. Wo be wo ni sisi aba na ni.
Straight.
Chairman, you bet me but yeah, na make can say we need to have a special dispensation. I bet me fast track cases. But in respect of your excavator, no wura ni honum, yes, yes, man, ye. But having said so, and now yes, I mean,
Excavated your machine there.
oh, Chairman, because that is a look.
You don't have a task force.
Oh no, serious, Lanka resource I'm being
And
an
you
event.
fasting and you don't want to anymore.
I'm telling you, Lanka resource I'm being an event. But having said so, my member fix the country.
I think I can't bear 2 minutes per.
Oh, Chairman, but that is unfair.
And then when I miss you. And then by the time I'm a dog.
Chairman, but I think it should be fair.
This is an issue.
Obi awa ko any ato aba mo ma say we need second term. Oh, yeah, chat time na ya o show respect. You nya more than you.
Now, is that doc doing on one yet?
There's no
Anyway,
lecture.
That's it, dog. You're
Anyway.
on your back, ready.
anyway.
It's your no, we have no choice.
Chairman, no worries.
Show respect for ruling party. Kaka.
I'm for demanding fix the country, no.
And you fix it.
Oh, 10% casualty allowed.
Anyway, Chairman, quickly,
Yeah.
I think say Obia who concern Obe demanding accountability. I mean, it is fair, and that's one of the tenets of democracy.
Yeah.
And I did not find anything wrong with people asking, say, "Yem fix the economy." I mean, the country, and some were even, very detailed in their demands. Oh, anyway. That makes the conversation very clear, and it puts it in perspective.
Yeah.
Nyana Ehadwino was the partisan hijack. You see, Obi had the power. Now Odi, and Mine Sami Nyadwin when he says, partisan comments on fix the country, should not be allowed. In so long as your objective in your commentary there, it is fair. It doesn't matter whether you belong to party A or B, but make sure say near ye can any propaganda. Near UK is objective with a view to expecting say BBBC in respect of solving the problem. But men ko share near muke yechi edia propaganda hoping to amass some political capital. Any they are saying common. And I believe say it's about time we had frank conversations. And ordinary Ghanaians should be allowed to have such conversation. Inti idea airpa. But one worrying trend I mean who say and said there are attempts to commercialize this enterprise too. As a struggle that began on a very objective note is now being commoditized. Yes, this is go fan, come fan, and my recollection of how struggles are waged, and it's a Sebi, nyoma edem wenim no ne hiamo. You push the agenda for redress, whatever it is that that is what drives you. But says amunya hwe na afi go fund me aba. Ube hu ana akwesi kasem. But that notwithstanding, I think that people must be allowed to express their concerns. I have concerns. Baby amiti ekwan ni nya maka ho asema be in fact over 5 years near America Wasem, Obi Mfi me.
To say open you come quiet.
Exactly. Maka Wasem, Obi Mfi. Meanwhile, you go to East Legon, roads that are done are being redone again. Yeah. Oh, yes. Now, so ya way, I am for Troquenso Toa. Chairman Jack. Yes, here the contract, no, mamma, maybe our contractor. Omega Tessa was same grammar as and so to cry. I didn't enquire. Well, until I have every right to
fix the road. Fix the road.
Yes, fix the road. I have every right to advocate the facts they say fixing the road, which is a legitimate concern to raise. Another issue, any water shortages. It's a legitimate concern for people to raise. Oh, yes, Yomba, because that is it is only in this country, not only in this country, but the truth is that I buy a wadi friend national monopoly. One issues of energy, water, education is an human. Mprempino, I buy and is the state that exercises monopoly over these things. In Ghana, I don't even have a private agency a supply and witness you. A government agency in here. And this means you I have every right to say that look, there are shortages. Until I buy fix it. And I can hear them. There are issues. People are free to express their concerns. Kania no emba. But it is
talking about Kania Monday timetable, no baba.
Well,
the timetable for 1 week of doomso, baba.
That is the thing. Until people have every right to say, oh, fix them. But kasama abayno. Look, communication is more difficult than if you are in opposition. But Ebimu have not lived out of the opposition circle of communication. Now that is not how you communicate, because taxes. Now everybody is expecting you to fix problems. And he said, Obi express concern. The least you can do, and it's obey and try to explain if there is any explanation. But to meet the person with insults, na buga emfa, because at the end of the day, the buck stops with you. Sikana muji no as tuono. Se bi emfa ma opposition party bia. And I get very worried when a concern is raised. You see abanye bibi. Na the response are ye nyane say, oh, na yen cry musi yenye we. Na alternative na ewo hono kra eyenhu chenye. Na alternative na eto abama.
Thank you.
We didn't vote for the alternative.
We voted for
you.
Look,
and you have a 4-year mandate. And you are going to be assessed based on your wire within 4 years.
So fix it.
Fix it. Whether the alternative is worse or good is immaterial, Chairman. But BBC now kokan. Oh, the alternative is scary. The alternative is empty. You are not empty. You are full. You are not scary. You are friendly. That is the kind of communication we're expecting.
I think I gotta go.
And my Chairman, Samia idea. If everybody, even though no one be but at least he's giving us some explanation. Say, and yes, Sabi, Abain at Tuada. They are doing some things. Maybe the pace is slow. Maybe there are some things they are not getting quite right now, but they are doing something about it.
Yeah.
But you don't insult me for bringing to your attention the obvious. Obianim say, Kanian Sam, a hardjane, Mikoka, Sabi, and some of the characterizations. Chama, it me friend Manibi. Unspeakable words. And you. I mean, come on.
And I might be say, who said, Nincrophone be your faces are buku.
And there has to be control. They have Uncrophobia who communicate for them on Facebook. Let's not pretend, say, every party sympathizer. There are people who are engaged to do that on behalf of the party and on behalf of government. Some of them would need some up-to-date education on how to communicate. Communicating in government, Chairman, a different enterprise. They need to tell them, say,
we need training, Papa.
We have political communication
training.
Thank you. Political communication.
Like some of them too are very good.
But in all fairness, sir, we all disagree to agree.
Yeah.
The approach to issues will differ. In Sabia, some of these people you are complaining about, you have a problem with how they are communicating.
The content, yes.
Also expressing your opinion.
You see,
so democracy now
sanity. You see,
democracy
allows you to speak freely.
Budget kakra. Eddie bread Dr. Santia. Now I'm a political communication.
Sami is justifying your records in a way. Sir, you have the right to free speech.
Yes.
But why do we criminalize offensive speech?
So you have the right to free speech.
Yes, but that doesn't mean Nyauba Kabia is allowed.
He's disagreeing with you and you find his position insulting. You've registered your concern. And as a party, we'll look into some of these communications.
But you said, they were just expressing their opinions.
I read those comments. let me be very honest.
Some of, all of them, or you haven't even read any.
Me no me no Father Bacchus and come out or taught us a few stars. I didn't mean for many more.
You haven't read any. Kra.
Apart from the Amakan.
Children of Father Bacchus. Madam I say. But opinion de kum kwan no kind so a small patch of road ewo agbogba kwan no so opinion de kum complain. Urban roads, fix it. There's the same one ewo Palace roundabout ewo Echo Sprinted. Oh say
Ade ba kwa oya. Mebo abaso pa.
There
Prof started by with you how many years?
Bro, by 20 years ago.
The chairman 2% catches and the corporate social responsibility means me take prof and you must have that.
Na yenya say assembly no no
where
oh yeah. Yeah. And yet despite fix it.
Where despite media fix it.
Urban roads, go and fix it. Bakusu Palace roundabout where I was Sprintex Road. It's me my traffic is slow. I had the traffic order that. Yeah, go. Our next news broadcast is at 12. Kofi Kumbilson is next on your radio. We've overstayed that welcome. If you can a video with dedication, I mean, sure, bye bye.